Hey guys, welcome back to CLAT. This is Mitali, one of the legal faculties at CLAT. And in today's video, we shall be discussing some of the factors that you need to consider before deciding to pursue law as a profession. So if you are a student who is wondering whether you should sit for CLAT 2027, or if you are a student who is wondering whether to go for law as a career or not, these are some of the 5 factors that you need to consider before signing up for such a thing. Number 1. Confidence in speaking and communication skills. Now, as you know, law is a very communication based profession, especially if you want to be a litigator, that is, someone who argues in courts, you will need a lot of communication skills. However, if you are somebody who likes debating or who likes public speaking, you already have some sort of an advantage over other students who are not that confident. Especially in law as a profession, no matter what type of team you specialize in, say competition law or capital markets, or just doing a normal corporate lawyer work in a law firm, you would require some communication skills. And you would need these skills to communicate with your seniors, associates, teammates, colleagues. So if you already have these skills, then that's good enough for you. However, if you are an introvert, you don't have to worry about it. A lot of students like me had no idea how to speak properly with a lot of people, how to communicate professionally, but I built it over time. And this is something that you can definitely do. However, you need to decide first that only if you're ready to develop or already have those skills developed, can you actually be a good lawyer. So if you don't have those skills, are you really ready to sign up for developing yourself and your personality to such an extent that you can do well in law as a profession? If your answer is yes, definitely go for it. Also, when you go to law schools and you sign up for activities like debating or moot court competitions or ADR, these skills are going to help you a lot in your longer run. So ask yourself, do you like arguing with people? Do you like researching and making strong arguments with people? Do you like explaining things to people using logic and law at your behest? If your answer is yes, then definitely sign up for law. Secondly, law requires a lot of reading, researching, and writing skills. So if you love reading, if you love writing, if you love learning about the world, then law might be the right career for you. Now, in other fields, once you study and you're done with studies, your career is pretty straightforward. However, law is changing constantly. Every new day we see new laws and new concepts coming up. For example, in the current times, fintech as a team and as a field in law has grown a lot. And this usually comprises dealing with AI and law and the intersection of it, which is quite interesting, isn't it? However, if new things and new developments don't sound interesting to you, then law might not be the right career for you. Even after law school, you will need to do a lot of extensive research, a lot of writing and researching, a lot of due diligence work that is paying attention to detail. And a lot of it entails desk work. And even if you are a litigator, a lot of your time is spent researching, writing, and practicing your arguments in a chamber or in an office. So this requires longer hours of desk work as well. So consider asking yourself, do you really like learning about new things? Would you really be interested in a client's case, in somebody's personal case and problems, and using law to determine the outcome of it? If your answer is yes, then law is likely to be the right career for you. Point number 3 is that working in teams is a major component of your law school life. Now, a lot of people think that law is something that you will need to do alone. One lawyer argues one at a time in a court, so you work behind the desk and you work alone. That is not true. A lot of lawyers work in teams. Almost all the lawyers at least work in a pair. And in most corporate firms, you have teams of even 30, 40, 50 people, and all of you have to work together and coordinate amongst each other. Now, this is something that requires a lot of team working skills and compromises, adjustments, and learning to adjust your lifestyle and your working style with that of other people's. Now, this is something that you definitely need to consider before signing up for CLAT. And even in law school, you will need to go for moot court competitions, CLAT counseling competitions, ADR competitions, and in all of these, you will work together as a team. Now, it's not going to be possible if you genuinely dislike being in a team, because law is a lot more teamwork than you might imagine. Point number 4, pursuing law is not the end of the world. You will need to do something after you are done with your college degree. So now there are a lot of career options that after law that you need to consider. Where do you see yourself after 5 years of law school, and then 5 years of work life. Now, this is not something that you need to heavily consider right now because it constantly changes over time. Once you go to law school, you change, you develop newer passions, your exposure changes, your interests change. However, you need to have a rough idea of all the options that are open to you once you get into law school. You have judiciary, you can also go for UPSC, you can also go for legal counseling, you can also go for a litigator in a court of law, you can also sign up to be a corporate lawyer, and you can also go in policy and governmental work like Vidhi Center does in India. And lastly, you can also be a teacher or a professor in a law school. Also, you can be a mediator or an arbitrator, which helps in out of court settlements. So, these are tons of options that can help you determine whether law and careers leading after law are the right option for you or not. Point number 5, ability to handle pressure. Law is definitely a very high pressure, a very high competition environment. It requires you to submit things on time, within deadlines, even working on weekends, working in a lot of teams, working as a subservient person to a lot of your seniors. Now, these are all the situations which will require you to handle a lot of pressure. So, you need to ask yourself whether you'll be able to handle so much pressure once you go in a working environment. Because if you're somebody who is very creative but also at the same time takes things at your own pace, like engaging in art or music, and you want greater freedom, then law might not be the right option for you. So we have discussed the 5 points in this video. You need to first consider, do you enjoy communicating and speaking professionally? Secondly, can you handle pressure, and do you have the ability to handle pressure? Are you prepared for that? Thirdly, do you enjoy researching and reading a lot? Fourthly, are you open to the career options open to you after law school? And lastly, will you be able to handle deadlines? So these are some of the factors that you should consider before signing up for law. Hopefully, this will give you a clear answer whether you do want to go for law or CLAT exam. And that's it for today's video. I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you.